Good morning. Welcome to our contemplative service this morning. My name is Marie Bailey. I am the service assistant today. And our not guest speaker, our speaker is...
Good morning, everyone. I'm Reverend Frank, for anyone who doesn't know me. Quick note about today's talk. Life is for us. Nothing's against us. All life, all the circumstances that show up, they're here for us. Can you believe that? And if that's true, why do we wear armor to protect ourselves so much? How do we take that armor off and embrace what is for us? This is the theme that we're going to be sinking into for the contemplative service. I assume everybody got their stone as they came in. You need a rock today for the service. If you haven't, we'll get you a stone. Everybody got one? Okay, good.
And our music ministry is Cheryl Hodge, Kate, and Jill. It's beautiful music from the three of them today. As we prepare for reflection and meditation now, let us set aside the busyness of the world and move toward a place of quietness, calm, and balance. Taking a few moments for silent prayer, simply allow the music to gently flow over and through you. Gently guide your prayers and affirmations toward whomever or whatever is in need of support. And please feel free to speak their names out loud. Hold them in your heart this morning as you listen to this Taoist reading. At birth, a person is soft and yielding. At death, still and hard. All beings, the grass, the trees, alive, soft and yielding, dead, stiff and hard. Therefore, the hard and inflexible are friends of death. The soft and yielding are friends of life. An unyielding army is destroyed. An unbending tree breaks. The hard must humble itself or be otherwise humbled. The soft will ultimately ascend. As we prepare for meditation now, let yourself settle. There's nowhere to go, nothing to solve, nothing required of you right now. Tension is not a mistake, it's a protection. And for now, protection can rest. Take a slow breath in through the nose. Hold gently. And exhale slowly through the mouth, as if the body is remembering how to sigh. And again, inhale, pause, and a long, unhurried exhalation. And let the exhale be your signal. Every time you breathe out, something loosens, something softens, something unwinds. Your body has been holding conversations, holding responsibility, holding expectation. Today, it does not have to. Take a slightly deeper breath in now. And if it feels right, gently engage the whole body, just a little, not force, just enough to feel the shape of your tension. Hold for a moment. And now exhale and let everything fall. Like armor warmed by the sun. Snow melting away. And notice the difference. The body understands contrast. It learns through release. Now bring awareness to the shoulders and inhale gently. Lifting them slightly, feel the effort, the bracing, the protection. And exhale, let them drop. Drop, like setting down a weight you have carried too long. Feel warmth moving downward, flowing through your arms into your hands. Take another breath in. Lightly curl the fingers and notice a subtle grip. And exhale, let the fingers uncurl. Let the palms open, hands resting like fabric, loose, heavy, unarmed. Bring attention to your face now. So much holding happens here. Inhale gently and gently, softly tighten the face, just slightly, and feel the mask. And exhale, let it dissolve. Jaw softens, tongue heavy, forehead smooth, eyes resting gently in their sockets. Now simply notice your whole body. Where armor once felt solid, imagine warmth spreading, like sunlight on metal, like ice turning into water, gradually softening. Breath by breath, feel my voice moving farther away. With each exhale, melt a little more. Less guarding, less bracing, less preparing. This moment is safe. Just this breath, just this body, resting, relaxed, unguarded. And notice how your body feels now. Heavier, wider, less contained, more spacious. Your nervous system has shifted. It has shifted out of defense into restoration. And now begin the smallest movements in the fingers. And slowly let light return behind your eyes. Then open them gently, carrying this softness with you. The armor can come off when it isn't needed. And now you remember how.
I was imagining feeling that armor and how people had to walk around with armor versus being soft and pliable like seaweed. Today, for our ritual, I want to bring back a story I think we know from our childhood. I mean, this is a story called David and Goliath. It seems like, gosh, everybody knows this story, but I want to unpack it just a little bit more for our ritual today. Historically, it's interesting. There's this person who, through the tradition of the Hebrew Scriptures, pretty popular. Maybe the name mentioned more than anybody. His name was David. And in Hebrew, that means the beloved, the beloved of the divine. Now, for those of you, I think we know when we talk about Scripture and unity, and there's characters, I want to suggest and remind us that every single character is us. These are all components of our consciousness, all components of how we show up and how we show up in life and the energies in our life. Clearly, whatever energy we're holding on the inside, we're going to express on the outside. So the stories that we see on the outside, whether they're beautiful spiritual stories like David and Goliath. Oh, and by the way, the archaeologists have found, this is Iron Age stuff, 900 BCE, 1000 BCE, the time when this person David would have existed. They have found material like writings from that time that talk about a house of David. So apparently there really was most likely someone named David and a kingdom that was being led, a group that was being led by this person. And at the time David lived, and the time of this story, he was a shepherd. And so metaphysics, the sheep and the goats, sheep always represent divine ideas, useful ideas, transformative ideas. Goats represent the other kind of thinking, stubborn, ornery. I always think goats get a bad rap. I've lived in a town with lots of goats. I loved them. But anyhow, metaphysically, sheep are these goats. So here's this guy who tends sheep. His name means the beloved of the divine, and he's shepherding high ideals. You see, this is a spiritual story, not a historical story, right? It's loaded with depth and deeper meanings. Meanwhile, there's this group of people at the time, and this is historically true. They were called the Philistines. At least that's how we know them in the Hebrew scripture. And what we know about them is they were travelers. They were on boats around the Mediterranean. They'd come and they'd try to settle in different lands and maybe conquer. I kind of think of them as the Vikings of the age, you know. They seemed to be traveling around. They were travelers. They would show up. And remember, all of these characters are ideas in our own mind. And I think of the Philistines as the energy or the ideas or the thoughts or the beliefs I get. And I go, really? Am I dealing with that again? They show up and then they leave, and they show up and they leave. And the Philistines had this one person. The name was Goliath. And the way this Goliath idea that keeps showing up was huge, 10 foot tall, bronze helmet, armor, spear, shield. It said it weighed 125 pounds in the story. Can you imagine? I mean, imagine this guy, you know, the Tao story is like when you're stiff and can't move, that's symbolic of death. That's a way that leads to destruction, despair, doesn't get you far. And one thing about this guy Goliath is he had a big mouth, man. He talked smack. And the Philistines came on one hill, and the Israelites were on another hill, and there was a valley between them in the story. The Israelites, when you look at metaphysically what that means, it means a spiritual consciousness. Spiritual consciousness. And the Philistines mean wandering, traveling. You know, it's like this iterative consciousness, not stable, not secure, not like static. Distraction comes and goes and not fixed. And you might think that this spiritual consciousness, Israelites, could look over at the static consciousness and easily this army would defeat the other, but they couldn't. This is interesting. The spiritual consciousness can't just see on the other side of the hill, this distractive consciousness. What it says was they were very much about, you know, Goliath, huge, tall, power, disruption, arrogance. And he kept saying, we're better than you. Your God stinks. You know, things like this. It's almost like a football game. Your God stinks. They're yelling across the field. We're going to kill you all. Meanwhile, the Israelites, what did they do? They went, holy cow, that guy's big. And he kept saying, send out a champion to meet me. And the Israelites kept looking at each other going, anybody? Even the spiritual consciousness was intimidated. This was really useful to me. even if we know and we're resonating in the spiritual consciousness, there are things in life that are intimidating. And when I say in life, it means these are characters in ourselves. So I've taken it in myself. I've taken in that Goliath. I've allowed it into my consciousness as something that's scary and frightening. But then David, the beloved, who's not stiff and formal with armor, I mean, this guy looks terrifying, but he's really scared, right? He's covered in armor. He's like protecting themselves. And David comes up, the shepherd, and I don't know what a shepherd of the day would have wore, but was in armor. Probably some kind of whatever you can imagine a shepherd wearing out in the desert. And he had a sling, that long couple string. And it says he went and got 5 stones, and he told Saul, who that name refers to someone who's heightened in consciousness, but only in materiality. Only heightened in an understanding of the material world. David was beloved of God. He name meant he understood the higher spiritual truth. And so he gets this sense, he gets this download. Just go get 5 stones and go knock this guy out, man. Let's end this. So he runs out, and Goliath and all the Philistines are there. Now, there's lots of movies about this. You've probably seen them, and there's a battle, and he throws spears and all this stuff. But all the story says, this is in 1 Samuel 17, all the story says, David picked up a stone, slung it at Goliath, and hit him right here. He had all this armor, shield, all this stuff, and hit him right here, which, as we know metaphysically, this is like the seat of your consciousness. This is like, here's your understanding, your imagination. And he said, I am going to enlighten you. I'm going to wake you up with a higher calling to the imagination. And remember, we can think of this playing out here, but this is kind of what we do in our own, when things scare us, when things look big, when things look overwhelming, when things look tough. How do we address it? And a rock, as we maybe know metaphysically, Jesus called Peter a rock, right? Faith. The rock is faith. And the sling is energy, and with that energy of throwing it, and then there's a sense of will. So there's faith, will, and energy, and it goes forward, and it says, I'm done with this nonsense. This thing that looks so scary, I'm done with you. Faith, will, energy, all comes down to strength, the spiritual strength of David. We're celebrating the power of strength. And David knocks him down. And what Goliath kept saying is, I'm going to knock you down, chop off your head, and feed your body to the birds and the animals. Metaphysically, when we feed the birds, you might remember the Genesis story, the birds are divine ideas. There's just like this huge abundance of ideas that we have. All these good ideas, here they are. This is what the birds, and then the animals, this is life. This is all the possibilities of life. And Goliath kept yelling, what a taunter. And David said, no, whatever you said, that's coming right back at you. I'll take you down, I'll cut off your head, meaning the energy that you think that's leading the way, I'm going to stop that. And I'm going to feed divine ideas. I'm going to face you. Those of you who are in the What's in the Way, or the Eye of the Storm class, we've been talking about this. When we see this thing that's challenging us, fighting, flighting, freeing, freezing, fawning, none of that works. Embracing. We embrace it. We say, I see you, and I'm going to deal with this from a place of the David energy, the beloved of God energy. I can deal with this. I can deal with this. And all that you said, I'm going to mirror it right back to you. You're a big scaredy cat in all your armor, and I'm going to move past this and move on to leading us to a higher consciousness. What a story. So I looked up and I thought, how does this apply to us today? And I'll tell you the ritual we're going to do in a minute, everybody's got a stone like David had. And I thought of a ritual where maybe somehow we would throw the stone something. And Janae goes, Reverend Frank, glass, windows, all throughout the... So the ritual is going to be like this. We're going to bring the stone up and just place it in gently in the thing. But to give it the sense of energy of that sling, you put your stone in and you're like, give it a like David did when he threw the stone. But what does the stone represent? What's the Goliath in our life? That's the question. What is the big, intimidating, scary thought? And sometimes the way we know what's going on inside is what are we projecting outside, which is really something we're holding on the inside. I went and looked for a Unity co-founder, Charles Fillmore, if he ever dealt with this story, and he did it. And so I'm going to share you one way. You can think of this in terms of your relationship with money and prosperity. You can think of this story in terms of relationship or a health issue or something else that's going on in your life. You can deal with this if you think of how you're feeling about politics, how you're feeling about creative process in your life. What is the Goliath that's intimidating, that's just a loudmouth trying to scare us, who's really a big scaredy cat, and we can take down with the power of a forceful throw of our will, of our power, and of faith. Charles Fillmore said, in his book called Prosperity, he said that one of the biggest Goliaths for people is their relationship with money. And looking at money and looking at the whole sense of what's going on in the money economy, and sometimes seeing it as a big Goliath that looks scary, like how do I deal with that? So he suggested 5 rocks. I'm going to read these to you. Well, actually, repeat them after me maybe. Let's do this. And you can come up as you drop your rock. You can use one of these or use one of your own, but I suggest use some of these as your concept. When you put your rock in, you could say it just to yourself before you chime in. The first one, he says, when it comes to looking at our relationship with finances, with money, you say, I am a beloved of God. Repeat after me, beloved of God. God is with me in all principled words. God is with me in all principled words. And they go forth and accomplish that whereto I send them forth. And they go forth and accomplish that whereto I send them forth. Like the stone, you send them forth. The words have power. The words are formative. What am I going to say when I meet the Goliath of some kind of tension around money? I'm a David. I'm a beloved child of God. And I'm sending forth words to claim the truth of my belovedness on the world. And I start inside and I send that forth outside. Here's another one. My cause is just. My cause is just. For it is my divine right to be supplied with all things. For it is my divine right to be supplied with all things that God has placed at our disposal. That God has placed at our disposal. Or try this one. I dismissed in my mind and the minds of all others. I dismiss in my mind and in the mind of all others any thought that my own can be withheld from me. Any thought that my own can be withheld from me. What is mine comes to me by the sure law of God. What is mine comes to me from the sure law of God, and in my clear perception of truth, I welcome it. In my clear perception of truth, I welcome it. Oh, I like that one. I am not fearful of poverty. I am not fearful of poverty. I am under obligations to no one. I am under obligations to no one. The opulent I am of my being pours out to me. The opulent I am of my being pours out to me all resources, and I am a mighty channel of abundance. All resources, and I am a mighty channel of abundance. And number 5, and this one I love. See about this one. I selfishly own nothing. I selfishly own nothing. Yet all things in existence are mine. Yet all things in existence are mine. to use, and in divine wisdom to bestow upon others. To use, and in divine wisdom to bestow upon others. I'm going to read that one. I love that one. I'm going to read that one again. Do it with me. I selfishly own nothing. I selfishly own nothing. Yet all things in existence are mine to use. Yet all things in existence are mine to use in divine wisdom to bestow upon others. In divine wisdom to bestow upon others. So there's 5 that Charles Fillmore came up with. You know, I'm the divine child of God. I don't selfishly own anything, but everything in existence is mine to use. It's all there for me. I am a channel of abundance. I am a channel that allows all good things by divine right to come to me for my use, and I am here to be a channel for that use, for those things to go to others and to bless the world. This is like, so when I see the Goliath of money, or the fear of money, or the worry about money, or the worry about economy, put the rock right between its eyes. I'm not going to go by that understanding. All things are mine. I selfishly own nothing, but all things in existence are mine to use and to generously bestow upon others. What a flow of life. What a flow of the good. What a flow of what's possible. So there's the one I'm going to use. And you can use the one you'd like. Maybe one of those, or pick one for yourself. So I'm going to turn on some music and just think for a while. And remember, just knowing it, you're just the Israelites up on the hill being frightened. It's the power of the word, the power of the thought, the power of the expression, the power to go out and express it, to say it with conviction. Selfishly, I know nothing, but all things in existence are mine to use and to bestow upon others in a graceful and kind and abundant and verdant manner. Use your own words. Come up with that consciousness. And the idea is, we'll turn on some music, and when you're ready, just put your rock in the basket. Don't throw it. But to make you feel like that, you really sent it forth into the universe. Send it forth with a chime, okay?
As the ushers come forward for our offering, we know abundance is our divine inheritance. Giving is our gift of love and appreciation. We always appreciate your generosity and support of this ministry we are creating together. And this includes each of you with us in person and those of you with us at home. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So as you take your offering to your heart, affirm quietly to yourself, I give freely and joyfully, for God is my source, and I have abundance in all areas of my life. And then join me in saying our offertory blessing. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Yeah.
Oh. Hmm. We selfishly own nothing, yet all things in existence are ours to use, and all things in existence are ours to use in divine wisdom so we can just bestow it upon others. So it is. Amen. If you wouldn't mind standing, we're going to close with the prayer of protection, and we have a way maybe we can do it with some energy here. And it would be light, love, power, and presence, okay? And we'll do it with lots of energy. You ready? The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And all is well. Yeah, go in peace, friends. Go in peace.